G'day everybody, Christian here from Maldad Property Group. Today we're at Rudd Mantell Accountants offices and we're going to be interviewing Adam Mantell.
I'm Adam Mantell from Rudd Mantell Accountants. We're based in Brisbane in Queensland here. We work with small and medium businesses predominantly, assisting them with their tax, their accounting and their business advisory needs.
So we're going to be interviewing him and talking about business broking and all the ins and outs, for sellers and buyers and the like, so tune in for that. If you are considering selling your business, preparation is key, and we talked a little bit about that. But what exactly should you have prepared before listing it for sale? And what are some of the essential tips for ensuring a successful sale?
Yep, so I guess it comes down to those traps we talked about before. So really making sure that your business accounting systems and bookkeeping systems look clean to any potential buyer. As an accountant that works for people buying businesses, when you look at an accounting system and it's messy, you generally straight away think there's something wrong here and there may be more work that we're going to have to do here. So making things easy for the buyer is super important. So getting those accounting systems very clean. Some people actually decide to use a bookkeeper in their last few years before they sell, just to make sure that it's very clean. You also want to make sure that your contracts with your clients and your suppliers, if you need contracts, are actually in place. I've seen businesses that have come up for sale where they've got one contract with one customer or one deal with a customer, and that's their primary income, and they've got no contract for it. So the buyer is looking at it and saying, well, what am I actually buying in this situation? Where having the actual contract worded up and put in place is very important, because that's what you're buying at the end of the day. Same with employees, making sure that those key staff have got employment contracts and that those contracts allow for the sale to happen and allow for that person to transition over with the business. You also want to be looking at your lists that you're going to be selling with the business. So you're going to be selling a client list, a supplier list. So making sure those lists are really concise and you've removed any dead wood from the lists and they're complete, because obviously, again, what the buyer's generally buying is that list. So making sure that there's phone numbers and contact details and the names of the person that you're going to deal with at that business are all included in that list. Just makes the business look far cleaner in that sale process. And the other thing is looking at your costs. So quite often people are running their business for a long period of time and costs tend to just add up. I had a client that was paying $10,000 a year to have a Yellow Pages listing, so they got a bigger listing in the Yellow Pages. I don't even know if the Yellow Pages gets delivered anymore, but they just had that in there and they were paying without even thinking about that they were paying that expense every year. So taking things like that out, as you know, with that business valuation process, the more profit you've got, the more valuable the business is. So making sure those expenses aren't in there that you don't need. Quite often people have subscriptions and overheads that they just don't need. And so start looking at removing those a few years out.
That's great. Thank you for that, Adam. Thank you for tuning in today. More to come.